Thank you for joining us wherever you may be tuning in from. I'm Daniel Choy here to provide you with the latest news updates. It's Chuseok, the fall harvest holiday here in Korea, and the mass exodus of Koreans traveling back to their hometowns is underway. The Korea Expressway Corporation expects around 460,000 vehicles to be moving out of Seoul and around 400,000 to be driving in on Monday alone. From Seoul to Busan, it's a 4-hour, 20-minute road trip. The journey from Seoul to Daejeon is reduced to an hour and a half. To Daegu, it's 3.5 hours. Ulsan, 4.5 hours. Gangneung, 2 hours and 20 minutes. 3 hours to get to Gwangju, 3.5-hour drive to Mokpo from the capital. Some 40 million Koreans are expected to be on the road over the course of the entire 5-day Chuseok holiday, so expressways will be busier than normal until Wednesday. Turning now to North Korea, it appears Pyongyang is trying to work its way back into the diplomatic fold. A key figure on Pyongyang's foreign relations team, who is on a 5-nation tour to jumpstart the North's diplomacy, is calling for the implementation of previous inter-Korean agreements and the resumption of the six-party talks. Our Connie Kim has this report.
North Korea's top nuclear diplomat says implementation of past inter-Korean deals is crucial to bringing about a breakthrough in North-South relations. Speaking to reporters during a stop in Germany that's part of a 5-nation European tour, Kang Seok-ju, the secretary of the Central Committee of the North's ruling Workers' Party, said the two Koreas could strengthen bilateral relations if they carried out the joint declarations signed after two historic inter-Korean summits in 2000 and 2007. The two agreements laid the foundation for reunions of war-separated families, an inter-Korean industrial park in Kaesong, and other projects aimed at boosting economic cooperation. Kang also said the long-stalled six-party talks on the denuclearization of North Korea should be resumed without any preconditions. Seoul, Washington, and Tokyo have been demanding Pyongyang's denuclearization as a precondition to restarting the aid for disarmament talks. The purpose of the North Korean diplomat's trip is unknown, but South Korean officials say it is in line with Pyongyang's efforts to re-enter the diplomatic circle. Kang is a key figure in North Korea's foreign relations and is also regarded as a point man when it comes to Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. Germany was a North Korean diplomat's first stop on a tour that also includes trips to 3 other European nations and Mongolia. Connie Kim, Arirang News.
The U.S. State Department says its appointment of a new envoy for the stalled six-party talks on North Korea's nuclear program does not represent any change in U.S. policy on the negotiations. Sidney Seiler, a former director for Korea policy at the National Security Council, took the job on Tuesday. When asked if Seiler's appointment indicates America's willingness to reinvigorate the talks stalled since 2008, State Department Deputy Spokeswoman Marie Harf said Seiler was brought on because his tenure at the NSC was finishing. She added the move is not an indication of any change in North Korea policy. Meanwhile, pursuit of the peaceful denuclearization of North Korea continues, with South Korea's chief nuclear envoy Hwang Jun-guk visiting Washington this Tuesday for talks with his American counterpart Glenn Davis on a wide range of issues. And on a more somber note, almost half of the South Koreans who have applied to be reunited with family members in the North have died before seeing their loved ones again. The Unification Ministry says that 46.5% of South Koreans who applied to be reunited with family in the North, or more than 60,000 of 130,000, have died before seeing their loved ones across the border, And at this point, about 10% of the applicants who are still alive are 90 years old or older, while 40% are in their 80s. The last round of family reunions was held in February, and time is running out. And in international news, Bangladesh has withdrawn its bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and thrown its support behind Japan. The announcement comes after Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe promised a massive investment in the country. Our Hwang Ji-hye has the details.
The Prime Minister of Bangladesh announced on Saturday that it will withdraw from the race for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council. The country had been competing against Japan for the seat ahead of the UNSC election slated for next fall.
It is my pleasure to declare that Bangladesh would support Japan's candidature from the Asia-Pacific group for a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council.
Her comments came after a pledge by Japan to invest 600 billion yen, or roughly $5.7 billion in Bangladesh over the next 4 to 5 years. The funds will be put toward infrastructure development, including the construction of roads and harbors. For Japan, the move is more of a gamble than a guarantee. It still has to win more than 2/3 of the vote in order to gain the non-permanent seat. Earlier in the day, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe arrived in Bangladesh on what was the first visit by a Japanese Prime Minister to the country in 14 years. His trip, which also includes a stop in Sri Lanka, is aimed at boosting economic and security ties with the two countries. The two nations also agreed to strengthen cooperation in preventing natural disasters and nuclear energy development. 황지, 아리랑 뉴스.
Many people around the world were skeptical, but they were hopeful that the latest truce would be a permanent and last one. But the fragile truce between Ukrainian government and pro-Russian separatists appears to be on the brink of collapse, following reports of fresh shelling in 2 cities in Ukraine this Sunday morning. 1 person was killed and 3 injured as artillery fire broke out in the government-held port city of Mariupol early Sunday, followed by blasts at the airport in rebel-controlled Donetsk. The ceasefire agreement struck Friday is part of a larger peace plan aimed at ending the 5-month conflict. Through his Facebook page, Ukraine's Interior Minister Arsen Avakov said late Saturday that there had been violations of the ceasefire from Russia, with rockets fired from Russian territory. Russia has not yet responded, but Moscow has repeatedly denied firing on Ukraine from its territory. Shifting gears to a different story now. Most Koreans will be heading to their hometowns to spend time with family over Chuseok, or Thanksgiving. But for some, the holiday is an opportunity to relax. For others, it's a chance to get away, as indicated by the record number of people expected to fly in and out of Incheon International Airport during the holiday. Our Kim Min-ji reports on the changing perceptions of this traditional holiday.
Chuseok has long been considered a family holiday where relatives gather to feast, play folk games, and pay tribute to ancestors in hopes of receiving a good harvest. But a growing number of Koreans are seeing the holiday as an opportune time to relax and get away from the stresses of work.
I used to spend a lot of time with my family when I was young, but now I enjoy other activities, like going on trips.
I plan to watch movies with my daughters. I feel that more people are using the occasion as personal time.
And they're not the only ones. A survey on 1,000 Koreans by market researcher Trendmonitor last year showed nearly 50% of respondents saw Chuseok as a mere break from the daily grind, up from 38% in 2011.
The change in perceptions has given birth to the term Chukangs, which combines Chuseok and the French word for vacation, vacances. More people are opting for leisurely getaways.
About 200,000 people are expected to fly out of Incheon during the extended 5-day holiday, up more than double in the last 3 years. And for those staying local, many are looking to go out and experience holiday-themed events rather than heading home.
I came to Seoul from Daejeon for Chuseok with my boyfriend. There are a lot of special events here and I'm having fun.
Hotel getaways have also become another popular choice for those who just want to get some R&R.
We're offering special Chuseok deals. With the extended holiday, we expect more people to enjoy the packages compared to last year.
However, some have voiced concerns that traditional customs are being lost in these changing holiday trends, raising the need for more programs to preserve cultural heritage. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Well, it is also tradition that things change. Chuseok travelers with 4-legged friends, however, often face a conundrum at this time of the year, namely what to do with pets while they're away. Our Kim Ji-yeon offers a possible solution.
It's the time of year when Koreans pack a travel bag and go long distances to visit family living in remote places. Some are using this year's Chuseok or Korean Thanksgiving holiday to go abroad. But what do you do with your pets while you enjoy some well-deserved leisure time? A growing number of pet hotels have popped up in recent years, like this one in downtown Seoul that costs around $30 to $40 for a night's stay and a little extra for special treatment.
These guys can get a facial massage or get groomed while they wait for their owners to retrieve them. A little slice of heaven on earth.
The pet hotel can accommodate up to 100 dogs and cats at any one time. Due to the popularity of the service, the pet hotel says it earns more than $490,000 a year. And don't worry if the pet gets sick, veterinarians are on standby 24 hours a day.
We had been veterinarians for 10 years, but decided to make room for a pet hotel due to demand from people who wanted a safe and trustworthy place to leave their pets for a few days.
The pet hotel advises owners to make reservations a month ahead of time due to the rising popularity of the service. Kim Jeon, Arirang News.
And now the weather. One disadvantage of having Chuseok arrive earlier than usual this year is that it still feels like summer. But cooler conditions are expected on Monday with daytime lows dipping below 20 nationwide. But the full moon might not be clearly visible with some cloudy conditions also in the forecast. Now it's time to check out the weather conditions elsewhere around the globe. These are the stories we're following at this hour. From all of us here at Arirang News, thank you for watching, and to those celebrating Chuseok, happy holidays.